All right, guys, the second last panel of the day. We are going from art to music. A very interesting panel about the sound revolution, how Web3 and blockchain are empowering musicians and fans. So first of all, let's start from Michael Harding, our distinguished moderator from Blockchain Sensei. Hi, Michael.
Hi, hi, hi.
We then have Tommy D from TokenTraxx. Welcome.
What's up?
We then have Emma Miller.
Hello.
Duncan Falconeer.
Afternoon, everyone.
And Ryder Havdale.
Ryder Havdale, thank you. Oh,
Enjoy the stage, guys.
Okay, so hello everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Michael Harding from Blockchain Sensei. If you've seen me on panels before, my main aim is to get the panelists to debate and potentially swear. I want to get this going viral. That's my main thing. I like addressing the elephants in the room in Web3 that people aren't talking about. So let's go. So let's start with one by one. If you all tell us, number one, what pissed you off so much that you decided to start your company, and who you are?
Well, I think I'm a producer, so my producer name's Acutek, and pissed off with the music industry in general. It's from a traditional sense, and just wanted to do something different and try and harness the technology that's available and be able to distribute my music.
When I hit 1 million streams on one song on Spotify, that had taken the least amount of time I'd ever put into a song. We did 3 hours. But on 1 million streams, we got $4,000. The label took $2,000, and me and the other producer got $1,000 each. And I realized, you know, I ran a record label for years. I've toured hundreds of shows. And I was like, why do I have to ask if we made any money on this? Like, I actually had to track down there was no transparency on Spotify for artists. Anyway, we launched Helios, a new music streaming platform, 3 years later, but just went live.
Nice, nice, nice. And what was your name again, sorry, for the audience, so they can find you on LinkedIn?
I am Ryder Havdale on LinkedIn, or any of the music streaming labs, particular Helios. This guy. I'm wearing my own band merch.
Nice.
Hello.
Hi, hi.
My name is Emma Miller, and I'm a fully independent musician from Scotland, and kind of made my way onto blockchain side a couple of years ago through the pandemic, not having live shows anymore. A group of us musicians kind of gravitated towards Twitter Spaces and started performing. And like a lot of the people on stage, just that plummet to the bottom of devaluation of the arts and of music. And finally, through blockchain tech, for the first time in history, music being able to have provenance and building a community online and being asked to drop my music on the blockchain. So I worked with a developer and launched my own private smart contract, and currently have the largest music NFT collection in the UK called Artifacts. And I'm hosting my first community event next weekend up in the Highlands of Scotland for my collectors. So I'm kind of combining the community, the digital asset side, and sharing my songs through NFTs.
Hey everybody, my name is Tommy D. I am a music producer and a songwriter, a DJ, an artist, a whiskey maker, and a tech entrepreneur. I've been in the music business for 30 plus years. I've worked with people like, well, everybody really, from Kanye West to Kylie, I always say. Yeah, I've had, 60 million sales and 7 billion streams. Woo! And of course, I know that because we live in a world of data. And data is what, has governed our world so much in the last sort of 10, 15 years. And when I discovered crypto back in 2015, fell down the rabbit hole, fell in love with decentralisation and Bitcoin, that whole concept, and realized that there was an opportunity to marry my two loves of music and the industry that is, I have a love-hate relationship. It's made me a lot of money, but it's also I've seen, including myself, a lot of casualties because of the system that the music business revolves around. And so in 2020, I founded TokenTraxx. We are always like to call us a music company, but we're really a tech company that builds Web3 infrastructure for the entire creative industries, not just the music industry, sports, gaming, film, TV, all kinds of different projects that we do. We are custom full stack build, and we build everything from simple marketplaces all the way through to full websites. And we've got a whole load of different projects on the go at the moment, right across the board. My main bedbug about the music industry is that really what we have is a system that is not fit for purpose. There's a fundamental problem, which is that people just aren't getting paid enough. And it doesn't really matter about, I don't think people want to be millionaires or billionaires. We just want to get something that resembles a living wage. In the UK, there was a report done by the MU last year actually, that said that the average income for a professional musician was 23 grand. 70% of professional musicians have a degree, whereas the average wage for a degree income in the UK is 38 grand. So the bottom line is that music people aren't getting paid enough compared to other industries. Half the people, professional musicians in the UK, are on £14,000 a year or less. That is a system that is not fit for purpose. Does that wake you up? Good. Get the fucking sort it out. Who likes music here? Who likes music? Hands up. Who likes music? Well, pay for it. Okay? Simple.
Now that's what we like to see. A bit of energy, a bit of va-va-voom, a bit of boom. So a little bit about myself. My name's Michael Harding. Run a educational company, blockchain and financial literacy company called Blockchain Sensei. We've educated tons of musicians, helped Wiley buy his first bit of Bitcoin, helped Big Nasty create his first music NFT. So we're talking here about revolution. Now, music and revolution pretty much go hand in hand. Like, music drives people. Music drives culture. Music literally drives revolution. So what does revolution and Web3 mean to you?
For me, I think it's just about reshaping what we currently have. We've spoken about it's not fit for purpose, and even the timescales that it takes for royalties to come through in the traditional manner, it takes months and months, sometimes years. And having the blockchain to be able to distribute funds automatically through split contracts to all the relevant rights holders, I think that the whole payment system that's incorporated behind it, there's an option to just completely revolutionise that. And that's one bit that I'm passionate about, that I'm hoping in years to come it's just going to become more sophisticated and provide more benefit to musicians and artists and the ecosystem as a whole.
Anyone else?
Well, it was up here on the board earlier, but I love the saying power to the people. And that's always what revolution has been about. And I feel like we're on the cusp of things actually changing and, you know, new platforms making a difference and shaking it up.
Yeah. I loved what Trevor said earlier about cutting out the middleman. For me, the revolution is about taking ownership of every aspect of what you're doing in music. So ownership of your audience. I have no access to anyone that listens to me on Spotify. So you put all of your energy into building a profile on this platform and you don't know who is listening to you. You don't know how to contact them. Suddenly with blockchain tech, you have that open channel of communication. One other small example, recently I've been doing well on TikTok and I had comments saying, oh, I've had this on repeat. I want you to get paid for this. Is really great. And I had to laugh commenting back. Over 1.1 million views across TikTok at the moment. I have made the grand total of £3.38.
Woo! Hola.
Thank you
Drinks
very
are
much.
on Emma.
That 38 pence, very important. And yeah, there's this culture of creators not being rewarded for the content and contributions that they make in building all of these platforms. So to me, revolution is about decentralization and about taking ownership and having that direct to fan experience, which is possible in Web2. I also use places like Patreon and I try and I still put my music on streaming and diversify, but there is that kind of grassroots movement that I'm part of at the moment with musicians that is very much, feels like a revolution.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing to understand, first of all, about music, particularly about music, is there are two sides to music, right? We all listen to music, So the listening side of music is very well documented, is very well, I think, very well covered. I mean, you've got wonderful platforms like Spotify and Shazam, Bandcamp, whatever, where you can listen and find new music. I think from a music maker's point of view, having those platforms, YouTube included, is incredible. I can make some music on my phone, I can stick it up, and everybody around the world can listen to it. I can share it, and if I hear a track on, in the club, I can Shazam it. I can find out what it is. I can share it to this man over here. He can share it to that lady over there. It's a brilliant system. I don't think anyone really can complain about how the listening of music is covered. Okay, so trying to sort of fit that into a new model is quite difficult, although there are many, many people, some of which are on this panel today, who are going to try and do it. And ultimately, a system whereby what you listen to, you pay for, i.e. direct payments for the artist because you are listening to their music. What a lot of people don't realize is that there is this what's called the black box income in the music industry. Okay, black box income is income that is generated by rights holders, whatever, by restaurants, gyms, shops that use music, but they don't know what you're playing. So if you go into a restaurant and they're playing, Peruvian nose flute music, because you're in a Peruvian restaurant, then great. You think, wow, these people are really, really cool. But actually what's happening is that restaurant pays £1,000 a year in the UK. I think it's a little bit more in the US, £1,000 a year. That money goes into a black box. And guess where that money goes to? It doesn't go to the Peruvian nose flute music. It goes to Ed Sheeran. It goes to Adele. It goes to the Rolling Stones because well, not necessarily the Rolling Stones, but certainly Ed Sheeran and The Weeknd, because they are the most streamed artists on the platform. So the concept is, well, we don't really know what's being played in the Peruvian restaurant, so we think it's probably Ed Sheeran because they're the, so that's where the money goes. So the reality about the music industry is that as a system, it's really antiquated. It's really, really antiquated. So when we talk about revolutions, I think one of the beautiful things about blockchain, now I always go back to this Vitalik quote, which is, we're not getting rid of the Uber driver, we're getting rid of Uber. Blockchains will get rid of these middlemen. There are so many middlemen involved in music, and middle women, and middle companies, and middle things, right? From this very simple concept that here is a person that creates music, here is a person that finds and shares that music, and here is a person that loves that music. I call them 3 C's, creators, curators, and collectors. That has always been the ecosystem by which all music is made, shared, and loved, right? That ecosystem is not ever going to change. It doesn't matter whether you throw AI into the pot, whether you throw blockchain, but it doesn't matter. That ecosystem stays the same. We have allowed, us creative people, allowed an ecosystem to be built that gives all the power to that middle one, the curator, the gatekeeper, the middleman. They are taking 88% of the money that is generated by music. So the reality is, how do we abstract away that middleman? How do we abstract them away? How do we get that more direct connection between the person that makes the music and the person that creates, that loves the music?
Okay, I've got a question for you then. On abstracting them away, where do they go? Where do you put them?
In what sense?
So if you're abstracting these middlemen away from the music ecosystem...
You're not abstracting them away. Okay. Sorry, I'll correct myself here. You're quite right. You're giving them less power. Okay? We still need people. If I hadn't found... There was a guy called Chris Checkley that came into my world. Chris was a bit of a hustler, a bit of a wheeler dealer in London, right? And if he hadn't come into my world when I was a kid, I'd still be in my bedroom making music, right? This was a guy that found me, loved what I did as a musician, and encouraged me to come out of my shell and make music. And we and him started a label together, and I used my mum's van, and we would press up records, and I used my mum's van to drive around the whole of London selling records out the back of my mum's van, right? She was a caterer, right? That person, Chris, he was a curator. He found people... and he got them going, and he made shit happen. You need that. The problem is they've got all the power now. And really, we need to shift that power back to the people that make the music and the people that love the music.
Okay. Anyone else want to comment on what we do with these middlemen? Where do we put them?
I mean, Tommy's doing TokenTraxx, and I love what he just said. I'm taking a more hybrid approach. I run a music streaming platform called Helios, where it's 100%. It's a subscription-based model, but 100% of your subscription goes to exactly who you listen to. If Trevor Jones puts out a single and I pay my $10 and I only listen to him, he's getting $10. But, you know, for me, I want on the platform, my mom to be able to listen to her favorite records without connecting a wallet. I want her to be able to listen to Lady in Red by Krista Burke, because I think she's listened to it 10 billion times already. But anyway, for me to get that experience and to get somebody who then can, you know, we're bringing them into a platform where their favorite music is there, we are compensating the rights holders. So I'm not about taking out the middlemen. I'm about taking out the layer that is, you know, like the Spotify. If you crunch the numbers on a Spotify, they claim 25 hours of listening a month. And if you split that by the average song length, which is 3 minutes and 17 seconds, it comes to 457 songs a month. I know from what I got paid, it was 0.004 cents. So 457 songs times 0.004 cents is $1.83. That's, you know, if you dig into that's as close to the numbers I can get on there. Where does the other $8.17 go? So anyway, that's my version of, you know, on the fiat side, and we're launching a cryptocurrency. And on Helios, you can upload your album and mint it to Solana at the same time.
Nice, nice. So one of the questions that I had here kind of segues off what you were just saying there, actually, which is, how can blockchain and Web3 tools facilitate deeper and more meaningful interactions with their fans? And what's more important, the depth of the technology or the actual user experience?
The actual user experience should be the top. And I think that's actually been the problem in a lot of blockchain companies. It's just that, like, you know, if you're a fan, you know, it's either waiting to, like, most of my favorite music is not on these platforms yet. Now, you know, I want to marry the two. But I think that, you know, at the end of the day, it's about a person creating a song or singing a song and engaging with somebody else and that love and connection that happens. And so, you know, right now everything's so splintered. There's a lot of companies doing completely different tech models, and it's so splintered. I look forward to the day when, you know, you can find your favorite stuff in one place.
I think the user experience is really important because there are a lot of blockers. I think when I first started, you had to download MetaMask, you had to learn about seed phrases, all these blockers that are in place that normal music fans who are used to just going onto Spotify, for example, and listening, that's blockers to them. I think as time goes on, the blockers will be reduced and it'll be a simple login by email, but there's still crypto under the hood that powers these platforms, and I think that's how more people get involved. But it is about user experience, and I think that's why there's a little bit of blockers there at the moment, but it can only go up, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with what the guys are saying. I think it's always got to be about user experience because that's why they're called users. And what's the point of building anything if you haven't got users of that thing that you're building? So what do users want, not what do you want to give them? And I think crypto and blockchain has a big problem around clunkiness. But as the gentleman, if you saw it earlier on, said, where we are at in the tech adoption curve, as modeled by many other tech innovations over time, we're still very, very early on. We're 2001 in relation to where the internet was. In 2001, I think we had broadband, didn't we? Maybe we don't think we had cellular at that point. Anyway, we certainly didn't have Google and social media and all those things. So, you know, where we're actually at in that relationship is still very early. I think that there is still a fundamental, I mean, TokenTraxx, for example, we build the first thing, one of the reasons why I formed TokenTraxx, because as an artist and a musician myself, as a creative person, I'm not a tech person, I'm not a dev, I'm not a coder. So I wanted to approach this, utilizing this technology from my point of view. What was it that I would use? How would I use it? What are the problems that I've faced in? And what am I trying to solve here? And I think that is the fundamental thing when you're building tech is, what is the problem I'm trying to solve here? What is the pain that I'm trying to get a gain on? You know, so understanding that and how we approach that at TokenTraxx is fundamental to how we then build technology for different people. But one of the things that we've experienced is, for example, I said right at the beginning, I wanted like Amazon, like a one-click kind of experience. We found it so difficult to find infrastructure that would connect to the traditional world, the finance world, the credit card implementation, blah, blah. That we found an implementation, we spent a huge amount of money getting it resolved. It was all sorted, same as what OpenSea's use, same as what Sound XYZ use. And then it was Stripe, and then I think they cut off the whole thing. So we're all back to square one again. So you kind of go up 2 steps to come down 1 in this space, and always trying to find that no-coiner experience is fundamental to trying to get this stuff adopted.
The only thing I would have to add to that in terms of depth of tech versus user experience, I am thriving on the fact that it's a really terrible user experience, because the people that I've found have come to me because of they've already gone down the rabbit hole of, for me initially it was Ethereum that I've dropped on, and so I was able to tap into that community that had already done the work and who then were passionate about music at the same time. And as an independent artist, there's this moment that's happening where we can come into the space and educate ourselves before the bigger labels make move or bigger artists come in. So I'm kind of grateful that there is an aspect of clunkiness, because I can carry on. But yeah, it's a terrible, terrible user experience overall. So I'm grateful there's platforms like TokenTraxx, like Helios, that are trying to get over even talking about the fact that it's blockchain. I really think that's the direction it needs to go.
It's interesting that the niche that are people who go down, that NFTs in the last couple of years, it's like, it really appeals. And to anyone who was into blockchain, like I got in 2017, but suddenly there was like something tangible about like NFTs. And it's cool, like the people who are really into like music NFTs in particular, it is a niche, and there's a lot of potential there,
most
obviously.
people in crypto are not collecting NFTs or know nothing about the other ways. It's meme coins or it's trading. And it's like there is still an untapped audience there, and there's still people we can funnel over that are more familiar with the tech, maybe.
Definitely. So you mentioned there like your appreciation for a couple of brands in the space. I'm curious to know, like, again, being as this is being recorded, it's going to go out there into the ether and people might see it. I want to know who each one of you would like to collaborate with in the space. Who do you see that there's potential of collaborating with?
As far as artists?
Yeah, as an artist, as a brand, as a company, as an IP. Like for me, I'm looking at what's happening with Brave Browser, and Brave Browser, people that aren't even Web3 are using it. I'm looking at like Telegram, and they've got 250 million users, and I'm seeing what's happening with Hamster Combat, and I'm like, if the right musician collaborated with them, or the right music platform collaborated with them, amazing things could happen. So it's just, I want to know who you're appreciating in the space, in the Web3 space in general, and you think, you know what, a collaboration with them would be great, because you never know, they might see it.
Well, I just ended up having dinner with one of my favorite artists over the years, 2 of them actually, but Arabian Prince from NWA just joined our team. I wasn't allowed to listen to Straight Outta Compton when I was in school, but I'm very proud of the fact that he's our new Chief Innovation Officer.
Nice.
And Bonnie Prince Billy, whose music is iconic to me, and Johnny Cash covered him with Rick Rubin for those American recordings. He just put his album up, I See a Darkness, on Helios. So I'm grateful to have the support of those guys. And Solana. I love Solana because I love the community, and I highly recommend anybody who is into I highly recommend Solana Breakpoint. It's coming up in about a month and a half, and like it's a fun community, and also I've got a Solana Saga phone in my pocket. Like I love how consumer focused they are. I want to make a product that's sexy, easy to use, and ties into these new things. So, sorry, I just rambled. 3 things.
I love it, love it.
you know, the common narrative that I hear a lot. So I started a music and art Web3 space on X back in October 21. It's called Music Mondays. It is now the longest running regular space. I do it every Monday, so please come and check in. It's great. We've had everybody on it. And this conversation comes up a lot. If we could just get Taylor Swift to do an NFT, if we could just get, you know, Kanye to do an NFT.
It's been done.
Right. I mean, the reality is that there's big artists that have done NFTs and big artists that have been in this space, and they don't even, so most of the time, a lot of the people don't even realize it. I think we have to get off that kick, because it's almost like saying this technology is all-encompassing, it's one thing, and this is how it's going to be, and it's not going to change. And this is how it's not. It's an experiment. Everything we do in this space is an experiment. We are just throwing shit against the wall and seeing what sticks. Right? Sometimes it sticks. Most of it doesn't. But the reality is, it may stick for that person, that artist, that community. But if you don't throw yourself into it, you don't know. And that's probably the one thing that I always say is like, look, just try it and see what happens. Try doing some stuff, see how it works. But you know, Emma will tell you, it is a full-time job being a Web3 artist. You have to do so much work. And I think the explosion of meme coins in this bull run has been a real eye-opener for a lot of artists, because suddenly it's like, so you mean I don't need to do all these private gigs on a Friday? I don't need to have all this exclusive merch. I can just put a fucking picture up and make a meme coin, and then off you go, you community, just have fun. And I think there's something really pure and beautiful about that. And that's what I love. That's the space evolving. There's a side to meme coins. There's a side to utility NFTs. And you know what? There's going to be 30, 40 other amazing things that none of us have even thought about that are going to happen over the next couple of years. So the question is, get out there and explore it. I work with big artists. I was with Coldplay a couple of months ago, finished working with them on their new album. I talked to Chris Martin about NFTs. He's like, boo, straight over. You can see it. It's like, Chris, you know, I've got this thing, TokenTraxx. Oh yeah, well, oh yeah. Not interested. And I've learned not to push it. There's no point. If they're not interested, if there's not the tiny winciest bit of curiosity, forget it. Forget it. It's just, you might as well be telling their grandmother to fuck off.
I think just on that, what Tommy's saying about the experimentation, I think that's key, because we're kind of working with unwritten rules. We can do what we want in the blockchain. We can release it how we want. We can set price points, limited quantities, open editions. If we're working with Web2, where we've got strict parameters, you can't really tell who's engaging with it to be able to then put reward systems in place. So it really does, it's an open ballpark to do what you want as an independent artist or MD that wants to muck about with the system. So I think it's a good step forward.
Anyone you'd like to collab with in terms of like on the tech side, maybe? Any platforms?
I'm not sure about platforms, but there's a guy called 33 Below that makes some really cool music. That's somebody that I'd like to collab with. That'd be interesting.
Nice.
Tommy D.
Okay.
Actually, you already got
there
it.
we go. Let's make it happen.
These two have collaborated on a hit, apparently, that we need to hear.
You just wait until you hear this tune that me and Emma have done. It is going to fucking blow your mind. It's so good.
That's what we love to see.
I might play it tonight. I'm DJing tonight at the party, so I may drop it tonight.
Okay. Exclusive. That's what we were cooking up. And in terms of the meme stuff, potential Bonk x TokenTraxx. You said that you're interested in the meme space. Is that something you'd be open to?
Yeah, we're building a meme coin generator so TokenTraxx has we have a product called the Trax Studio. The Trax Studio is like the Lego board where you build things on top, and we have built, sort of $5 billion worth of technology. We partner with hundreds of billions worth of other companies that have built incredible stuff. And the idea is that you can build this fully customizable sort of hub. So if you're an artist, you could have like a VIP membership scheme. You could have an NFT marketplace. You could do all kinds of stuff like that. If you're a venue, you can have like a POAP kind of experience. You can do NFTs on the gig that you've just attended, that kind of stuff. We're also doing fractionalization of IP as well, particularly around music, but also around sports, film. So we built a platform for a company that wants to do IP around sports. And the idea is that within the track studio, you can have anything. And obviously, meme coins are a big thing. I think meme coins are great. I love it. I love the concept. And so we're building out our own meme coin generator that will be available on a number of different blockchains, not just Solana. Ooh, watch this space.
To like throw a curveball, I hate meme
Yes.
coins. I hate the hype and the hot air in the space in general. I think like that is our like PR disaster. I'm all for people having fun, do your thing. But as an artist, I'm never going to be building a meme coin or a like something that isn't tangible within my art and within my music. So my kind of blockchain element that I incorporated was that gamification that inspired me from the PFP culture and having different artwork traits and offering that kind of stuff that results in either real connection with me as the musician or a tangible thing like a piece of vinyl. So I personally am not up for launching into collaborations with platforms because although, you know, if you pay me the right number, I'll sell myself to the devil. But yeah, like collaborating with other artists in the space, I think is like, I loved working with Tommy. I love that there are platforms that are offering fair cuts and fair stages for musicians. But in terms of collaboration, I think this is a moment for artists to step forward and not sell yourself to X person and build collateral for them that doesn't maybe translate to where you're going with your art.
Okay.
But come on, you would collaborate with Hannah Georges or Feist.
God damn it. So Ryan followed me on Instagram and I was like, I did a little emailing. I was like, oh, panel. And the thing that prompted me is bloody Feist follows him, who's like one of my favorites. Hannah Georges follows him, who's an incredible artist. So I'm going to go on and put my music on Helios, get closer to Ryan, get introduced to Hannah Georges, and actually scrap what I just said.
I think just to kind of add to what Emma said here, because this is something I've been thinking a lot about. We have to think about this concept of marketplaces, right? Marketplaces are centuries-old ideas because the idea is that you'd have, you know, loads of different farmers all over the place, and you couldn't go to all the farms, so they would all come to the village town hall, right, on a Saturday,
like
and you go and get your eggs, and you get your chicken, and you get someone else to bake bread, and that's what physically you had to be in a marketplace. And when the internet started, this concept of marketplaces followed. So we now go to Amazon, we now go to eBay, we're still programmed to go to this one place on the internet, right? But actually, it's the digital world. We should be going everywhere. And I think if we really want to drill down in what Web3 is all about, is this idea of jettisoning marketplaces as a thing, as a concept, central entities that live on the internet. And the whole concept around, you know, what I believe Web3 is about is be the platform. You're the platform. You are the place that people should be coming to. So what we should be building is a way to connect up everybody's individual platforms in a way that is decentralized and equal. And that is what blockchains do. That's the whole concept. So if we really want to drill down to Web3, it's about connectivity. It's about us as individuals and communities connecting up together. And therefore, when a new platform comes along and goes, oh, we're the new big bells and whistles thing, and trust me, I'm a platform builder, right? But that's, in a way, that's what we should be sort of not running away from, but we should be starting to extract ourselves from as a society, is this idea that if the next version of the internet is anything, it's that we go back to individuals and communities.
Okay, so on that, round of applause. Love that. So on that, you're clearly raising the issue of the big elephant in the room, which is user adoption. So, like, what can be done to, number one, make user adoption better, and most importantly, more stickier? Because all the Web3 music platforms that I've used, unfortunately, I'm going to name some of them, your Audius, your Piano-E, your Sound XYZ, they just don't actually keep me coming back every day.
Well-
Like, I'll go to them once a month. What can be done to make me actually come back every day like I do with Spotify?
I mean, my thing on Audius, and kudos to them for building, like, for what they have built. They've opened up a lot of doors.
Yep.
But the reason you're probably not going back to it is it's not a great experience on your phone because your favorite music isn't there. Like, if we're talking about music as a music platform, then it's, you know, that's my main thing with some of these. Like, I'd like to see more platforms that scrape all music NFTs. And there are some, you know, it's like it's coming together, you know, and I'm taking my stab at doing one version of it. But I think that to me is the user experience. I want a, you know, I think wallets are a major friction point. So I love the tech. Like, we're launching a utility token right now. And, you know, right now, you know, all the hype's in meme tokens, but I love the idea of, like, being able to reward users for coming to the platform and, like, staking and, you know, staking on certain artists or whatever it is. It's the same thing with me with NFTs. I love the idea that you can mint NFTs where, you know, you can mint tickets on Helios, but I never got in it from the side of, like, you know, the exclusive NFT. What I like about it is, like, the guts of it. You can supercharge content. You know, if you sell tickets, it can be an artifact to a show that the band can then, you know, reward 10 years later. Offer them guest list next time you're in town. That kind of stuff is, like, exciting to me. But I think that for most people, it's like they hear the word NFT or blockchain in, you know, and I'm trying to, you know, I tour with bands and that's a friction point too. It's like, we got to get rid of that language. Let's just make platforms that tie into cool tech that, you know, help creators, but where they don't have to think about it.
So you're thinking, you just don't say the word blockchain. Just call it an app.
Yeah, it's a block start. It's a block start technology.
Okay.
Shout out to Colin back there.
Yeah,
Thank you for this fucking setup.
And also, shout out to Trevor. I mean, honestly, it's such an inspiration for everybody. Shout out to Trevor. Incredible. I think there's a saying that a lot of people know, which is from Henry Ford. And he said, you know, if I asked the people what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse. Okay? And people kind of think that they've taken that saying as in the wrong way, as far as I can understand. Because what they said is, don't ask the people what they want. Just build it, and then they'll find out they want it, right? But actually, if you did look at what Ford did, it talked about horsepower as a measurement of speed. They called the cars the Ford Bronco, the Ford Mustang, right? They did talk about faster horses. They did sell it as a faster horse. And this is the car, right, where you had to have if you owned a car, an automobile, you had to also earn a man who would walk in front of it with a red flag, waving it. It's called the red flag provision. And you had to have that because the maximum speed was a scary 4 miles an hour. And if you saw a horse, you had to park the car or hide it, or better still, dismantle the car. That's how cars started, okay? So the concept of the faster horse is where we're at with the blockchain. So what we've learned in the last 4 years of doing TokenTraxx and being right at the coalface of what's going on with the way communities and creative people and music business, because trust me, the fastest thing you'll ever see in the world is when you talk to a music artist and mention the word NFT, and you won't see them for dust, I promise you.
But
right? So, but what we've learned is, instead of trying to sell them this new thing that they've got no concept about and they don't really want to know it because they're just trying to scrape their 0.003 royalty out of Spotify, what you've got to do is go where they are. You've got to go to where they are, and more importantly, not where they are, because trust me, it's not our sell to say to an artist, do you want to make money? Most of them will say, yeah. What you have to do is go to where the fans are. What the fans want, they want meet and greets, they want merchandise, they want gigs, they want, you know, to be seen as being a super fan. There's a Goldman Sachs report that said if the music business better monetized itself, it could create 4.2 billion extra in income from super fans. The question is, how do we make more super fans? Not rinse the poor super fans. They're doing enough as it is. What we want is to get more super fans into the equation. So that 3% that are generating 60% of an artist's income, how can we increase that to 6%, 8%, 10%? Because then you will double, triple the music business income, right? And that's what we need to do. Find out how to make those people want to be more inclusive, feel special, feel like they're part of something. Because that's what music is about. It's about a feeling. It's not about a fucking product or a piece of tech. It's about a feeling. So you work on feelings. You work on how do you make people feel amazing. Because that's what we do. We lose our shit to music. So how do we make ourselves lose our shit even more?
Wow. And with that, it's a wrap. Make sure you don't lose your shit, everybody. Thank you very much. In fact, lose your shit tonight.
Yeah.
Let's go. Thank you,
check
everybody.
out Helios, helios.party.
Thank you to all the amazing panelists. Thank you to Blockstar. Thank you to Colin. Thank you very much.